All right, hey guys, what's up? It's Tim, and I'm real excited to go over your upcoming testing week to kick off our 12-week cycle. It's going to run from July 9th all the way through September 24th to 29, which will be the 12th week. We'll finish with testing. A couple things to note before we get started. Hopefully, you've already had a chance to review the cycle overview video where we go over the priorities of the training, and that'll help make sense for what the tests are. This cycle, we're running 3 4-week cycles. Okay, and the reason is these movements, as we're in the skill acquisition kind of time of year where we're trying to get a lot of new movements that we're going to integrate into conditioning later, it's going to take a little longer to acquire them. So we want more time and more reps. So a 4-week cycle is going to be better, and we're doing that by alternating the days of the programming. So we'll get into that on the month overview and some of the other cycle overview videos for you. But for now, we get started with testing week, and we are starting off on day 1. It is going to be clean and jerks, front squat, and then absolute strength endurance is where we're going. So it is strength speed. After we worked on absolute strength last cycle, right, increasing our back squat, increasing our pull off the ground, increasing our strict press, and only lifting sub-maximal percentages to work on technique, right, because technique is hard to improve at 95%, right, that's just go time. That now we can test this, and then through the cycle, we'll be rebuilding those a lot. So I'm expecting a lot of PRs here at the end of the cycle from this one. So part A is clean and jerk, building up to a heavy single rep. That's 1 rep every 2 minutes for 16 minutes. Once we do that, most people's front squat should be building up fairly well. And we're going to build up to a tough single front squat, 3 more attempts from the squat clean, or for fitness and function group, we're going to build up to a set of 5 reps at 3.0x1 tempo. Okay, so it's 5 reps at 3.0x1 tempo. And then part C, so we do that. It's going to take 22 minutes. It should go in order. If someone needs an extra rep, of course, give it to them, help them get something good. And after that, it's going to keep flowing with what we've done. Now we're doing strength endurance. So after the high output part works, that's going to take more of their central nervous system to activate. The strength endurance will be less CNS and more their body's ability to keep that muscle recharging and contracting again. So it's going to be 50 front squats from the ground 4 times. This is really challenging. With some people, I've done 100 reps from the ground. That's a bruiser after A and B. That'd be too much, and time would be too long for class. So for fitness, we're going with 2 kettlebells or 2 dumbbell, depending on their ability. Performance in sport is 135 and 95 from the ground. And again, it's very challenging. We're looking for probably about a 4 to 6 minute range for most people here. And then sport is either 50% of today's 1 rep max or 185, 125. And that to get under 5 minutes, you're a beast. And we put a 7-minute cap on that so class can flow on the time that we like it. So that's the first day. Again, we're going over CP, strength, speed, absolute strength on the front squat, and then absolute strength endurance at the end. So a nice little flow to that. Lower body should be fairly taxed. On Tuesday, let's go over here to this cell. We are going to be focusing and prioritizing on upper body pulling and speed strength work, right? And especially speed strength density and aerobic power movements that we have to be very careful of the grip as a limiter on this workout for part B. So you'll see how we chose some of those movements after A. Part A, after last cycle, working the absolute strength for upper body pulling, all the weighted pull-ups, accessory rows that we did. This cycle, it's going to be a 5-minute AMRAP. It's going to be a max set unbroken reps, then followed by remaining reps in the time left. And for fitness, it's going to be unbroken ring rows at a 1.0, 1.0 tempo. For performance, it is unbroken chest to bar pull-ups, and then remaining reps you can get in 5-minute attempt. For sport is unbroken muscle ups into remaining reps left. So what'll happen is you want to redline the front end. Don't game it and do 2 and then just do a bunch of singles. The goal is to go deep, and I'm looking for how good they can recharge after a deep set of pull-ups or muscle-ups or ring rows, right? So you want them to get something like, let's say, 9 muscle-ups they get, and come down, shake it off, and now it's down to 2s and 3s and whatever. How fast can they recharge and go? And their score would be 9/32, right? If someone can't get any chest to bar pull-ups, I would have them go to chin over bar, or if they're that far away, obviously back to ring rows. Grip will be really shot after this. And this workout on part B is aerobic power. We're wanting to decrease those limiters so they can keep moving, although you'll see the density of the movements continues to expand. Because the goal is to go from, last cycle it was a lot of 10s and 12s on these conditioning pieces. Now we're up to 20s we want to do, and eventually the goal is 50s, right, where you can just go straight through and it's 50 of this, 50 of this. And again, the muscle endurance won't be a limiter or a grip or something. So this is us training them up to that. It's a 20-minute AMRAP of aerobic power, meaning that we want that to be continual movement, 200-meter run, 20 kettlebell swings at a moderate load, and 20 ab mat sit-ups. For fitness, we're lowering those reps because the muscle endurance limiter has a lower ceiling for them. That's Russian swings and then sit-ups. And then performance is 53 and 35 pounds on the kettlebell or lighter. Sport, also Russian kettlebell swings, 70, 53, and V-ups. Right? Toes to bar is a bad choice for us on this one because of the grip on part A. There, and with the overhead yesterday on the jerks and for tomorrow on strict handstand push-ups, we want to limit the amount of overhead work or even front rack work here. We thought about putting a kettlebell hang clean in there, but it was just going to be front rack, or overhead, 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 all in a row. And that was why we made that choice here to not do that or not put dumbbell power snatch there, which we'll see at the end of the week. All right, we're going over to Wednesday. And Wednesday, we're starting off with another 5-minute AMRAP. This is upper body pushing density, right? It was lower body focused, especially anterior, and CP focused on Monday, upper body pulling strength, speed strength, endurance, and aerobic power on Tuesday. Now it's going to be upper body pushing, vertical density, meaning we're going to go how deep they can go, and then lactic power, kind of endurance-y in that weird range there. And I'll explain that part in a second. So we're starting off with a 5-minute AMRAP of strict handstand push-ups. For fitness, it's going to be seated dumbbell press, same thing, as many reps as you can at a 2-0-2-0 tempo. Once they break, we'll shake it out and go again and give them a set of dumbbells. They can probably get about 10 to 15 reps from the start. Don't give them 5s and they're going to do 200 and they get rhabdo, right? So something about 10 to 15 reps at 2-0-2-0 is appropriate. If you look at 15 reps for a 4-second count, that's 60 seconds. It's hard to go for more than a 60-second set if you're just totally on control, right? Do that. For performance is strict handstand push-ups. And I get it, a lot of them aren't going to get very many of these. Well, that's why we have the retest the cycle, is that we want to improve that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of kipping push-ups outside of competition phase and intensification phase from the lowering on the head and the neck. That gives a lot of clients neck issues. We want to avoid that here for their testing and help them work on more absolute strength. If they have a trouble with strict handstand push-ups, what should they do? Go improve their strict press and go improve their seated dumbbell press, right? Go improve their overhead carry and their eccentric holds. We want them to go focus on that versus trying to push through something that they haven't really earned the right to get yet. But if they get that, cool, I'm all good with handstand push-ups all day. And I know then we go to sport, which will be strict deficit handstand push-ups. Hands will be on 45-pound plates for the men and 25-pound plates for the women. So not a huge deficit, but enough to make it challenging here. And the same thing, it's as many as you can do unbroken and then remaining reps. You can't rest on your head. That's cheating. Right? You can rest in a handstand position all you want, because that sucks. The lactic power test, this was going to be for time. We ended up putting it to a 2-minute AMRAP. I really like what it does, creating the urgency for a member to push hard and not like, oh, I'll break it up. We want LP and lactic power to be like crazy. It should be nuts. They should feel like what just happened at the end of this. And it's a 2-minute AMRAP, 9 power cleans, 9 burpee box jump overs, 9 shoulder to overhead, 9 burpee box jump overs. However many rounds you can get, somewhere between 1 to 2, I think, will be where most people end up on this. For performance, it's just 95, 65 pounds, right? The strength isn't the limiter. The strength endurance isn't the limiter. I want this to be the limiter here, right? We're increasing the load. Some we're also increasing complexity from last cycle when it was power clean burpee, right? Now we're adding in a shoulder overhead instead of burpee. It's burpee box jump over. So complexity gets increasing as we get better at these things. It's going to rest 6 minutes, and then you go again, 2-minute AMRAP. Right? Sport is 135.95. For fitness, right, these ones are harder. It's going to be a 6 slam ball or double dumbbell hang power clean. I was like, am I saying that right? A 2 dumbbell hang power clean plus 6 burpee plus 6 shoulder overhead plus 6 burpee, right? So the limiter is less there, meaning we're not having as many reps, as 9 reps, they may not be able to go straight through. We want these at a rep range where they can push through it and go to the next. They do that and they go straight through it. Because lactic power should be like almost no break, no stop, minimal transitions. That's what we're looking for on this piece. And that is Wednesday. We'll finish up with side plank, a different variation of side plank and side star plank testing or loaded. Okay. Thursday is going to be part A is single leg squat testing. We had a double leg squat with the front squat. Now it's single leg squatting testing here. Fitness is going to build up to an 8 rep max, each leg box step up. What's the heaviest load they can do with their chest up, not having their butt rock up and their chest rock up for the box step up. For performance, I want max rep unbroken pistols each leg. Okay, so they have to stay in place. They can't hop around. They can't do that. They can't put their foot or hand on anything. You got to stay right there, down and up. And it's really challenging. And we built off that last cycle was obviously the rear foot elevated split squat to an 8 rep max, and now we're progressing to a pistol for them. And in sport, they're building up to a 1 rep max pistol each leg. So you see the progressions of here where we can build up and down for these. Each one kind of builds on the next cycle and builds on what we did for each avatar here. Okay. For part B is aerobic muscle endurance. So this one, the muscle endurance will be more of a limiter, where on Tuesday we wanted muscle endurance to be a little bit of a limiter, right? We want to keep increasing that. And it is a really challenging workout. It is 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, wall ball double unders. Yeah, if you just got a little nauseous in your stomach, that's good. It's a tough workout. For fitness, it's just going to be 40, 30, 20, 10, light wall ball, and 3-to-1 single unders so they can keep moving. That'll be plenty hard for them already. For performance, it's as RX. They can break up as they want. Like they can do 20 wall ball and rest. That's fine. Then do 20 and rest and 10 if they wanted. They can do that. Double unders, they can trip up. For sport, it is unbroken for each rep scheme. So that means you have to do 50 wall ball without stopping. Rest all you want, 50 double unders. If you get 45, you're back to double unders. Don't go do wall ball again. That's crazy. You'll kill someone, right? So I want double unders unbroken. Then 40 wall ball, 40 dubs, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10. And at the end, after about, the set of 30, it starts to pick up the pace a little bit. But the first 2 can be very challenging, right? The goal is we want for these to become aerobic powers that they can go straight through on the wall ball and no stopping in transition. Right, a lot of people can get through 50 and they're like dying, they're jumping. Now you got to rest 3-4 minutes before dubs, or you do dubs and you're like, I can't do 40 wall ball right now. That's good. So you have the density, but it's not aerobic power. It's just like aerobic muscle endurance. But I want this to become aerobic power for them. Right, in the open every year, that's something that comes up. High rep wall ball scheme almost all the time, right, or years past. And also then for body composition, high rep muscle endurance. Nice, right? So it should be very good. But you can see now why we wanted to limit the shoulders on Tuesday and some of the squatting movements there to be able to hit them here. And then that's Thursday. Friday, we're going back to CP, more strength speed, right, from absolute strength to strength speed. Last cycle, again, deadlift, back squat, overhead squat, straight press. We built up to heavy reps on those. This one, we're going to do power snatch, building up to a 1 rep max. 1 rep every 2 minutes for 14 minutes. So 7 heavy singles building up. Performance sport is build up to a tough single. For fitness, this is a harder one because the analogs aren't quite as good. It's either, and I give you some options here, it's either a med ball hip toss with a partner, 3 reps every 2 minutes for distance. So I do 3 reps, boom, as far as I can, light med ball. So it's going to help me express power without technique being a limiter. Or you can work also on light hang power clean or a light hang power snatch technique for sets of 3 reps. Okay, now we're doing the CP battery portion here. And because we did the squat, the full clean and jerks with the front squat battery work on Monday, we're using power snatch. And so that's why we're not going to do power clean with this one for part B. It's going to be 25 reps at 77% of your 1 rep max. Break out your calculators. And then we're going to go through that. For performance sport, it's as RX, 25 reps, right? That's how fast we can recharge our CP. For fitness and function, right? It's gonna be 50 slam balls 4 times, right? So we get the same stimulus, more or less. It's still gonna be more of a muscular endurance portion just because they're not gonna be able to express power as well as them, so it won't be based on their CNS quite as much. We do that. We're gonna rest, and then part C, final part, LP, 1 shot, must kill, 500-meter row for time. So fitness, 500-meter row, performance, 500-meter row, sport, 500-meter row. You're gonna rest 90 seconds on the rower and then repeat that for 500 meters. So use the Concept 2 measurement time on there to count down, and then set it for an interval for them and just use the countdown for parts for fitness and performance. Finally, Saturday, we're finishing up the week, and this is gonna be a fun part. As we want to build up in the fall to building more where thruster work will come in, and really speed strength movements come in more. Things are going to be sub-maximal, under about 60% of someone's max. We always want to increase the capacity for that maximal output, so then 60% is relatively higher. So it's going to be a squat clean thruster build to a 1 RM, right? It won't be nearly as good as your clean and jerk, but it does give us 2 things to look at. Right, too close, and then we know that, hey, they're being deficient in their Ollie work. Right? If it's too far, that means they may lack some absolute strength work to or speed strength work to work here. Right, so we're going to build the ceiling for the squat clean thruster. Fitness functions, 5 front squat into 5 push press. Performance sport, let's build up, and then finally, it's going to be a variation of a great workout. We've done in the past for part B. It's a variation of one that's called Unbroken 2.0. It's going to be 4 strict handstand push-ups, into 5 squat cleans, into 6 chest to bar pull-ups, into 7 dumbbell power snatch at 50 and 35. And I see the numbers are already adjusted for you. So the way it's going to work, you're going to go 4 strict handstand push-ups or kipping handstand for performance, into 5 hang squat cleans. You have to stay in the hang. Do there 6 chest to bar pull-ups, 7 dumbbell power snatch, alternating reps. For sport, it's 6 unbroken strict handstand push-ups, 8 hang squat cleans at 155, 105. That's really tough. 10 chest to bar pull-ups unbroken, and then 12 heavy dumbbell power snatch. So again, we're increasing density by making those movements aerobic, but I also want them to be able to be going through a not too long of a break here. Okay, so it's challenging. It's 12-minute AMRAP. It's a final test, and it's really one that people, I think, are gonna not crush, to be honest. That's where the training cycle comes in at the end of it. I believe they're gonna do really well. And that is the training cycle for this upcoming testing week. You'll have your inbox shortly, and I'm excited to see how testing goes on July 9th, kicking it off. Thanks, guys.